It is St. Patrick's Day 2019, Sunday, March 17th. Welcome to a special holiday edition of LCJ Live. I'm Lights Camera Jackson, joining you live, as always, every Sunday to talk box office and what else is going on in the entertainment industry. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Please be responsible today. As always, send in your questions, your comments. Captain Marvel's leading the box office again this weekend. Another $69.3 million. Have you seen Captain Marvel? What did you think of Captain Marvel? Again, send in your questions, your comments. Join the show, because we got a lot to talk about today on this special St. Patrick's Day edition of the show. $69.3 million for Captain Marvel. I guess one of the 20 biggest second weekends for a movie ever. Not bad for Captain Marvel. It's Friday of $19 million, so Saturday and Sunday combined, the estimate is $50 million. That is pretty good. We've got Wonder Park in second place with $16 million. That's a little higher than expected for Paramount and Nickelodeon. A lot of problems in the production of this movie. The original director was fired by Nickelodeon over sexual misconduct allegations and all that about a year and a half ago. Other people were brought in, but for those who have seen Wonder Park, they say there is no director credit actually given in the movie, which is so rare for an animated film. Though, if you do a little bit of research, David Feiss is one of the people who was brought in to resurrect Wonder Park, if you will. I interviewed David Feiss a few years ago when he was at Sony Pictures Animation for Open Season, Scared Silly. Nice guy, creator of Cow and Chicken. I think Paramount and Nickelodeon are happy for a couple reasons. Number one, they're the biggest new movie of the weekend behind Captain Marvel. And number two, $16 million is a lot higher than they expected. Some people were saying as low as $8 million for Wonder Park this weekend. So 16 is a win. They are going to be celebrating over at Paramount and Nickelodeon. In third is 5 Feet Apart. This is the new teen illness. They have cystic fibrosis, romance drama. Haley Lou Richardson, Cole Sprouse, $13.2 million. It had Wednesday night early screenings at the fan event, and that is what I went to. And I put fan event in quotes because I was one of only 4 people there at the Wednesday night fan event showing. And the other people there were not teens who this movie was targeted for. So I knew right off the bat, it's probably not a good sign that this movie's not going to make a whole lot of money. Though again, $13 million is higher than they anticipated. The estimates were showing around $10 million predictions going into the weekend. So CBS and Lionsgate are a little bit pleased, but I'm sure they wanted the number 2 spot over Wonder Park. This is a movie that has gotten mixed acclaim from critics and audiences. People who have cystic fibrosis say it's not authentic. Some people just didn't buy the romance, didn't buy many of the elements surrounding the romance, and I'm kind of in that category. Haley Lou Richardson and Cole Sprouse are very good together, but there are a lot of other elements in this movie, stock characters and over-the-top situations that would just never happen in real life that I didn't buy. If you like the two of them and you're in that 13 to 20-year-old demographic, especially females, then you will go see 5 Feet Apart and you will probably like it very much. If you're not in that group at all, then 5 Feet Apart is not worth your time. It's another one of these sick kids romance movies. But what seems to be the case out of all of these is that the performances are the things that make the movie. Look at Shailene Woodley in The Fault in Our Stars. To me, that was an Oscar nomination-worthy performance. I remember Richard Roeper also saying, coming out of The Fault in Our Stars, I think she's one of the 5 slots for lead actress. It did not happen. I wish it did. You look at other movies like If I Stay, Chloe Grace Moretz was very good in that. Then Came You was a film recently with Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones. Central performance in that movie is what made the movie and kept it from being a disaster. So a lot of these cases, but this genre is getting way too repetitive and not succeeding very much outside of those central performances. So we need some new ideas, Hollywood. I say it all the time. How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World in 4th. Tyler Perry's A Medea Family Funeral in 5th. Then 2 more new movies in your top 10 for the box office on this St. Patrick's Day weekend. No Manches Frida 2, sequel, with $3.9 million. And then the new sci-fi movie Captive State with John Goodman and Vera Farmiga, just $3.2 million to come in 7th. This is a film that Focus Features wasn't sure when they were going to release. They had moved it a couple of times. It was originally supposed to be a limited release start for this, and then they decided to go nationwide with it to 2,500 theaters. And again, just 3.2 million, not all that strong. This is from Rupert Wyatt, who directed Rise of the Planet of the Apes in 2011, as well as The Gambler with Mark Wahlberg, which I kind of forgot about that movie. I remember seeing it when it came out around Christmas time 2014 and was not impressed by The Gambler with Mark Wahlberg, another movie with John Goodman. The Gambler only made $33.7 million, Captive stayed 3.2. If this movie gets to $8 million, I'm going to be surprised. So kind of 0 for 2 out of the last 2 for director Rupert Wyatt. Lego Movie 2 in 8th, Alita Battle Angel in 9th, and rounding out your top 10 for the 11th weekend that it has been in the top 10 is your Best Picture Academy Award winner, Green Book. It is still in 1,300 theaters. It is still making money, another $1.3 million. It is up to nearly $83 million, the highest grossing Best Picture Oscar winner of the last 6 years. I do a monthly movie night at a local library near where I live. We're showing Green Book on Wednesday night. And we've got a full packed house signed up, ready to go for Green Book on Wednesday night. And it's still one of the top 10 movies in America. That is so rare. Out of your top 10 from last weekend, isn't it romantic? Apollo 11, Fighting with My Family, and Greta. Opening up in limited release this weekend was also The Aftermath, starring Keira Knightley. It opened to just $57,500 in 5 theaters, and The Hummingbird Project, $36,000 in 4 theaters. I actually watched The Hummingbird Project last night, got a digital screener thanks to the folks at The Orchard. It's a really niche movie. It's Jesse Eisenberg and Alexander Skarsgård, and it's about finances, and it's about milliseconds of time of getting information when it comes to money and Wall Street. And it's a niche story, and I like Eisenberg, I like Skarsgård, but the film, to me, feels very cartoonish and over the top, and tries to do too much, and in the end says too little. So I was overall disappointed with The Hummingbird Project. I mean, I didn't know what my expectations really were going in, didn't know a whole lot about this movie, but the story goes in weird directions and ends up going in predictable directions. Didn't really care for Salma Hayek's character at all. The Hummingbird Project, it's in 4 theaters now. It will probably expand to more over the coming weeks, but to me, not strong enough to recommend. We got a big week coming up. On Wednesday is the Daytime Emmy nominations. They're going to be announced at 2 p.m. Eastern on CBS's The Talk. That's been happening for several years now. Couple things worth noting about the Daytime Emmy nominations this year. Number 1, this is the first year without Julie Chen in the equation for The Talk, because she left after the whole Les Moonves thing. So she's gone. She will not be credited, I'm sure, as a host of The Talk this year. They will probably submit an episode with new host Carrie and Inaba in there to try to qualify them for Best Talk Show Host, and I'm sure they will get nominated. Number 2, let's move over to game shows. Alex Trebek, after all he's been going through, he's sure to get a nomination for Best Game Show Host, absolutely for Jeopardy, but it's also safe to say Trebek will probably win this year for Best Game Show Host. Although number 3, I'd like to see America Says come in. This is the great GSN Game Show Network game show hosted by John Michael Higgins from Best in Show and Pitch Perfect and Great News. This is a very good game show. It's entertaining, it's fast, it's fun, and I think it deserves to be in the categories of game show and game show host. GSN got American Bible Challenge, remember that, with Jeff Foxworthy in there a few years ago, along with The Chase, and host Brooke Burns nominated. So good luck to the Game Show Network. I hope it comes out all right for you guys on Wednesday with the Daytime Emmy nominations. Green Book should have been called Black Book because it's definitely in the black, says Shane Mendez. Green Book's making a lot of money. It is $83 million. Again, highest grossing Best Picture of the last 6 years, one of the highest grossing Best Pictures of the decade, last 15 years. Big success for Universal on many levels, and again, also on DVD. It's been on digital since February the 19th. This Saturday coming up, March 23rd, in a theater or two, or in my case, 3 near you, Shazam is being screened nationwide through Warner Brothers Pictures and Fandango Early Access. They're actually doing 2 shows, which is unheard of in the world of advanced screenings. 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock at your local theater for Shazam 2 weeks early. How do you get to see it? Well, you have to get your tickets on Fandango.com. And you have to become a Fandango VIP member, which I am, and it's free. All you got to do is just submit an email and fill out a couple things, and you become a Fandango VIP member, and you can get tickets to see Shazam. Warner Brothers, as I wrote recently on Twitter, has been head over heels in love with the idea of doing these nationwide pay advanced screenings. It started in August with Crazy Rich Asians a week early on a Wednesday. Then they did A Star is Born, Tuesday night in some places, Wednesday night in others. Then they did Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, the Tuesday before it opened. Then they did Aquaman through Amazon Prime, the Saturday before it opened. They did Lego Movie 2, 2 Saturdays before it opened in January. And now here we are with Shazam. So don't be surprised if Detective Pikachu and Godzilla and some other Warner Brothers movies to come out the rest of the year do this same strategy as well. Audiences may get to see Pikachu and Godzilla 2 weeks early, whether it's through Fandango, Amazon Prime, or Warner Brothers just doing it on their own. They seem to love this idea of doing these early screenings because they make money. The studios have figured out recently, we're in this trend right now, that moviegoers will pay to see the movie 2, sometimes 3, look at How to Train Your Dragon, 3 weeks early. People will do it if they have the ability. The early buzz on Shazam is extremely high. The early reviews say it is fun and an instant classic, and Zachary Levi's terrific, and it's good for the whole family, even though it's PG-13. I'm going to be seeing it on Saturday, and I will have my review of Shazam next weekend, and we will talk about it right here next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern on LCJ Live. Talk about Shazam. I hope it's better than Captain Marvel, because I was not a fan of Captain Marvel. I hope it's better. Fingers crossed. We will see what happens. But yeah, if you haven't looked yet, go on Fandango.com, see if Shazam is at a theater near you this Saturday. Just pay the money, and you get to see it 2 weeks early. And we will see how much green it makes, how much of a jumpstart Shazam will get on its box office. Tomorrow, I'm also going to be posting a review of a new movie coming out on April 5th called Storm Boy. This stars Jeffrey Rush and Jai Courtney, and it is based on a 1960s novella from Australia. The story of Storm Boy is very popular in Australia. My heart goes out to the people of New Zealand, by the way. Storm Boy is a very good movie. And if you know the story of Storm Boy, this new version, which actually opened in Australia in January, actually has 2 elements to it. It's got that core story, that father-son relationship story, and about the son raising the pelicans, but also the older version of the son, played by Jeffrey Rush, looking back on his life and telling his granddaughter this story. It's a device we've seen in many movies before, but the way it's done here is really special. Storm Boy opens in select theaters on April 5th. Hopefully it'll keep expanding to more throughout the spring. It is one of the best movies of the year so far. I'm going to have my complete review up tomorrow at lights-camera-jackson.com and all over social media. I recommend you see this movie. It is a great family movie in the vein of Old Yeller, Dolphin Tale, story about a child and the relationship with an animal, and it's got some new twists and new elements to that story that really work. Storm Boy, full review, tomorrow, all over social media and on the website, lights-camera-jackson.com. What are you going to be doing to celebrate St. Patrick's Day? If you're over 21, please drink responsibly and enjoy. Hopefully you've got some beautiful weather. I've got some decent weather here up in the Northeast. We actually hit 72 degrees the other day. Couldn't believe that. It's a little colder today. It's about 40, but it was very warm the other day. Spring is on its way. Maybe Punxsutawney Phil was right after all. And by the way, Back to You podcast made the official announcement the other day. The Back to You podcast kicks off on Wednesday, April 3rd. It is a special podcast series that I am hosting, talking about one of the greatest TV shows of all time. It lasted one season. Kelsey Grammer, Patricia Heaton, Fox sitcom, Back to You. Kicks off Wednesday, April 3rd. Special guests throughout the 18 episodes of this podcast. A new episode every single week. If you want to watch Back to You, go on Amazon Prime or buy the DVD off of Amazon or wherever you get your DVDs to watch all 17 episodes of Back to You. Get ready for this show, because it is going to be unlike any podcast you have ever heard before, unlike anything I've ever done before, and really fun, really cool. Back to You podcast kicks off Wednesday, April 3rd. All right, once again, Captain Marvel is your box office winner with $69.3 million. When we talk back here next Sunday, we're going to talk about Shazam, but also Us. Jordan Peele, his new movie is finally opening up this Thursday night at 7. I'll have my review on Friday. I'm expecting big things because I went in to Get Out with low expectations and came out of it blown away. I said, wow, Jordan Peele has written a great screenplay. Did I think it was going to win the Oscar? No. But I thought, wow, this is a very socially aware screenplay. Great story, good performances, and direction. Jordan Peele's got an edge, he's got a future, he's got a vision, and we're going to see that through here again, hopefully with Us opening up this weekend. How big will Us get? Here's the interesting thing about Get Out. If you remember from 2 years ago, Get Out didn't have it had a big opening weekend of 33 million, but it ended up making 176 million total. The multiple on that is huge, and it had legs over the course of the winter time and into the spring, and people were still talking about it a year later through awards season. Jordan Peele is back with Us, opens up on Thursday. I'll have my review all over social media on Friday, and we'll see how it does. My guess is, yes, it will make more than $33 million when we sit back here next Sunday. Does it make more than $176 million total? That's the question. Will audiences respond to this as much as Get Out? Will audiences want to see it 2 or 3 times? Supposedly, it's much more of a horror movie than Get Out was. Will that have an effect on audiences as well? Be very interesting to dissect. So we'll talk about Us and Shazam back here next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern for another new episode of LCJ Live. I'm Lights Camera Jackson as always. Follow me on Twitter at LCJ Reviews and Instagram at LightsCamJackson. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe here and watch the latest video. And I'll see you next Sunday for LCJ Live. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Thanks for watching.